everybody, the Mills team here. We've got Sue and Sarah, Michael, Katie, and Lauren. And we hope will be a great surprise for you. We're here at Mark's Pizza, a wonderful local pizza shop, and we would like compliments of the Mills team to deliver to you a pizza for your family, for yourself, for your friends, that you can make at home and enjoy. So the invitation is included, and we hope you can enjoy. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, it's Sue from the Mills team, and I'm here with Mark from Mark's Pizza. So Mark is not only my friend and my neighbor, but he's an awesome small business owner that's just absolutely thrived during this pandemic. So you opened up kind of right as all this started, right?
March, right when the pandemic started, and it's been good.
Crazy. So Mark does these delicious gourmet pizzas, and people come and pick them up, and it's perfect. Like, there's no eating sit-down space. It was almost built for COVID, and
exactly.
So who would have known? So anyway, we're hoping this is going to be a really fun family day treat for you guys, just to have an activity at home yourselves or with kids or whatever. And so I thought I was just coming to watch Mark and to film Mark, but apparently I'm going to be making a pizza, which is hilarious because this will literally be the first thing I've done in a kitchen other than pour cereal for probably 2 years. So if I can make a pizza, anybody can make a pizza. He's going to have to really dummy this down for me, because truly, I eat his pizzas all the time, but have never come close to making a pizza in my life.
All right.
Okay.
So welcome everybody. So in your pizza kits, you will get a container of dough, a container of cheese, a container of sauce, and depending on your pizza kit, you might get jalapenos, hot honey, basil, or pepperoni. So those are the options that you'll have to choose from when you order. But
everything's going to be separate, right? So
everything's going to be separate.
If somebody didn't
yes.
want pepperoni, they can just ignore it.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So everybody will get these: the dough, sauce, cheese. And so now we're going to show you how to go about taking the dough from here, get to this step, and then get to the tray and get in your oven.
And what other things will people need at home to do this?
All right, so just move these aside. So we're going to do a few options. Today we're going to show you the easiest method, which is it's just your basic sheet pan. And this is an aluminum one. You might have the gray ones, the non-stick ones. You'll have to use parchment paper or the dough might stick. The other option we have, I'm going to use this. So this would be, say, a pizza pan or a pizza stone. This is just a screen that we use at the shop. But you can always use a pan that's this shape. It'll be obviously solid. And with this method or the pizza stone method, you might have a pizza peel, which you make the pizza, dress it here, then you slide it off onto the stone into the oven.
I'm going to take the easy method. I'm going to do the baking sheet.
All right. So as far as what you need to do before you start, so the dough will come in a container like this. So 3 hours before you're going to make your pizza, you should take it out of this. So you'll do that. And it might rise. It might even kind of push the top up a little bit. That's not a big deal. So you get some flour, any kind of flour, just put it on your counter. Take your dough out, lay it down.
And should the dough, if people aren't using it right away, should the dough stay in the refrigerator?
Yeah, you can put it in the fridge. You can keep it on the counter.
And how long is the dough good for? If somebody
It's good to 5 to 7 days at least. So, and if you don't use it, you can always put it in your freezer as well.
Okay.
So once you take the dough, this one's been sitting at room temperature, so it's pretty workable. But if you do take your dough out of the fridge, it'll be a little bit harder to work with. But at this stage, it doesn't really matter. So what you're going to do, you're going to take your dough, put it on a floured surface, and you're going to pick up your dough. You want to knock as much flour as you can off it. You just don't want it to be sticky on your hands, and you want to fold it in on itself. Keep folding in and pressing, folding in and pressing. And if you notice it getting a little sticky, you can just kind of roll it in the dough, pat it off, and keep folding and pushing in. So basically you want to get tension on here, so when you put your dough down on your counter, it doesn't kind of just fall down and go limp, I guess. All right, so you want to just fold it in, and again, if it gets too wet, put it there. And once you have a little bit of tension on top, you want to lightly flour your surface, put it down, and then you want to press your fingers into your counter and pull to create a little bit more tension, turn it, pull it, create a little bit more tension, pull it. Basically, you want to make a ball and you want to tighten it up as much as possible. Now, if you can't do that step or you don't want to do that step, once you fold it in, this might be a little easier. As long as you have some tension on top, you can kind of just put it down, put a little flour on it, and then get some plastic wrap. Put it on top, put it in a warm section of your kitchen. You can put it on a tray, on a plate, if you have a warmer section in your house. Just let it rest for 2 or 3 hours. Do you have any questions on that?
Nope, that sounds good. So the big thing is just to leave yourself enough lead time that you
Yeah,
can
you
do
need
this
about at least 2 to 3 hours for sure.
ahead of
Yeah.
when you want to. Okay.
And you basically you just want to make a ball out of this. If you get it like the way I did it, great. As long as it looks kind of like that, you're looking good.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're a couple hours later, and your dough should have risen nicely. And what you're gonna do, if you have 1 or 2 or 3, most of you will probably just have 1. Just lightly flour it and just kind of press it. It should feel nice and soft. So you want to see how.
Take flour too? Sure. Okay, I'm truly an idiot when it comes to this stuff, so.
And just whip it off a little bit. Yeah, see how it feels. It's nice. It's really soft.
Okay.
So that's the texture you want. This one's a lot harder. See how it springs back? You don't want that. If it's like that, just wait a little bit longer.
Okay.
All right. So now you'll take a spatula or something, a hard edge, if they're together. But if you just have a single one, you should be able to just pick it up.
So that container that you gave us, that will typically make one
That'll make
pizza.
one 16-inch pizza round,
Okay.
or it'll fill a tray, maybe not as big as this, but your average kitchen cookie sheet.
Sounds good.
All right, so you want to pick up your dough. So those ones are stuck together. So what we're going to do is cut them, and then if you want to just scoop it up,
Okay.
we'll grab
so
it.
at home, people are only going to have one of these. Basically.
Yes.
Okay.
So and then put it in here.
Okay, right in.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So once it's in there, you just put lots of flour on it, and you want to press it down. So I'll do this one.
Okay.
You can do that one.
Okay.
So then once it's pressed down a little bit, you take it out and you put it on your counter. So you can do that one.
So we throw it in here. Throw some on top.
Yeah,
And
and
then
press it down with your fingertips.
Yeah.
Like really press it in.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. So once you've done that, take it out.
Take it out.
Put it on the counter.
Okay.
Perfect. I'll take that over here. All right. So once you have it on your counter, you just want to kind of get it, like stretch it out a little bit.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to use lots of flour. It'll soak it up. It's pretty high hydration dough, so you don't have to worry too much. And then once you get it nice and flat, you just want to press your fingers in
Actually,
and just kind of
feels
spread it out as you press. And you just want to make dimples. Try to make it into a circle if you can. And then once you have it pressed out a little bit, you'll pick it up, flip it over. And then do the same thing on this side. So just press it out, press it around the edges, and you're almost like pushing it out a little bit.
So it's good you have to teach me because you probably take it also for granted. But when you actually have to tell me what to do, you realize what an idiot.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
All right, so that's pretty good. So that's good. So all right, so it's relatively a circle. That's fine as long as it's approximate. You're good. So now, since we are putting it in a cookie sheet, we want to make it more of a rectangle or an oval. So you put your fingers underneath, and kind of lift it up, stretch it a little bit. Nice. And then you'll turn it around, do the same thing with the other side, and it's like let it fall, let gravity do that, and then pull it out a little bit with your hands.
Okay.
See, it's looking good.
Okay, just keep doing that.
Yep, just keep doing that. And stretching it out, pulling it out, stretching it, pulling it.
I feel like a little bit
Nice.
when I was a kid with Play-Doh.
Yeah, it's almost like that, yeah. All right, so you need a little bit more flour. If it starts absorbing it, don't worry about using too much. All right, so that looks good. So see how yours is a nice rectangle. So you want to press it out again. So it's a little thick in here, so you want to really press it.
Okay. Okay.
Not so much with this part of your hands, more
Okay,
this,
thanks.
like press.
Yep, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's looking good. All right, so you want to keep it like a rectangle, I guess, so it'll fit in your pan. So once you have it down, you want to put your hands on it and kind of stretch with your hands. So stretch your fingers.
Maybe this way?
Yeah, whatever way you got. So
Okay.
you want to notice the thicker parts and work them
Towards it.
first. Yeah. So stretch it out a little bit. Stretch it out a little bit. That's looking good. That'll look nice on a pizza pan. All right. So you have a little bit thicker areas around here.
Yeah.
And a little bit thinner down here. So what you want to do, you want to work on these areas and not so much that one.
Okay.
All right. So I'm just going to move this over here.
And then would I want more flour? I don't have a lot of flour.
Yeah. So anytime it gets a little tacky,
Yeah.
you can use flour. So like I said, don't worry about using too much flour.
Okay.
It'll absorb a ton.
It's interesting how it shrinks in. Keeps shrinking in.
Mm-hmm. It'll do that. If that's the case, like if your dough is a little bit cold, if it does shrink in, you can just leave it for 5 minutes, then come back and it'll be it'll rest a little bit and it'll be nice.
Okay.
All right, so that looks pretty good. So we can probably move that to the pan now. So just pick it up. You don't want to go like this when you pick it up, or else you get a hole like that. You want to kind of, so when it's down, you want to almost lift it with this part of your yeah like that. And even that, even that, stretch it out a little bit more. So this, I'd say it's just a little bit too thick still. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hold down here, pull it out gently. Just go all the way around. Pull it out gently. I'll switch spots with you. And you want to work on the thicker spots. So you have a nice even cook. Alright, that's looking good. So, and it will shrink up because it is on the parchment, which it's not sticking to, so it might shrink up a little bit. But we can fix that. Once the toppings are on, it'll give it a little weight, and you can stretch it out. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Another option, if you don't get the size or the shape that you want, you can use a rolling pin. Let me go grab one. All right, so if it's not going the way you want, you can always use a rolling pin. So flour it well, turn it over. Both sides have to be floured, or else when you roll it, it'll stick. So you can roll it out a little. That is a gigantic rolling pin, I know. I can't seem to find it. The only disadvantage to this is you won't get as many bubbles when you cook it. I like the bubbles, but this at least you can get it in your pan.
Do you have to worry about it getting too thin or just...
No, it's just the thinner you get, the crispier the crust will be.
Okay.
So this is good. You want to try for an even crust.
Okay. So for me, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it's, if you don't have a rolling pin, you can use a wine bottle.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
There's a few,
Do you have any?
There's a few of those. Does an empty wine bottle work?
Not as good, but yeah, if you got it, you got it.
Okay.
All right, that's perfect.
Okay, good.
All right, I'm just gonna put this on here. All right, so now we're gonna lift it. So you want to slide it. See how it's sticking there?
Yeah.
So you need to put a little flour underneath, and just make sure it slides around it. Take that. Yeah, and you get it. Yep. On top.
It's a lot easier with the rolling pin.
Yeah, it's just
the cheater way, but
it'll taste just as good.
okay.
Just flatten this around so let's delete that. All right, so there. So that we have that one, and then same thing. You can just stretch it out. If you do get a hole, like this hole here, I'm gonna come. Let me show you. You just take this, take a piece of dough, and just fold it over, press it down, done. If you have a really big hole and you have some time, you might have to roll your dough back up again and come back to it. Sometimes if you get a really thin spot, there's not much you can do. All right, so we've got this now. We're gonna put the toppings on.
Okay.
All right.
The sauce will come like this.
The sauce will come in a container,
Yeah.
and then so basically that is for one pizza. So you can pour the whole thing right in the center.
Which way? Just...
Yeah, pour it right in.
Okay.
And then just use a big spoon or a ladle to spread it out. You can go as close to the edge or as far to the edge as you want. Now the good thing about this is the parchment is protecting the pan a little bit, so if you do get sauce over it, it's not going to stick. If you didn't have the parchment, it would stick to this for sure.
Okay.
All right, that looks good.
Spots?
Yep.
Good.
Now you're going to take your mozzarellas.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to give you two types of mozzarella. So this one is fresh mozzarella. It has more moisture. It just melts different, just different taste. Or sorry, not different taste, a different texture. So you can take all these and just kind of dot them all around the pizza. Perfect. I think we got one more. We got one more. Got to hide.
Okay.
All right, so then take your mozzarella, and I just take it out in handfuls and kind of sprinkle it around.
Okay. What you tend to do? More rather than less, or just get it all covered and then figure out how much you got left?
You should have enough in there for one pizza, so that's approximately how much we use, about 200 grams. If you like more cheese, put it all on. If you like a little less, like that's fine. If you like a marinara pizza, don't put any cheese on it at all. But you'll have enough cheese in the container to do one full pizza.
Perfect. And again, if you've got the parchment paper, you don't have to worry about getting too close to the sides or whatever.
Exactly.
That's good. It's clearly the right one for me. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
And yeah, just make sure your cheese is all over.
No.
I like a few red spots here and there around the pizza, so you can, and the cheese will melt, so it'll be nice.
Great.
So now, if you have pepperoni or any other options, if you want to add some like your own green pepper or onion or whatever you
So I
want.
think what we're going to put in the kit are either jalapeno or basil,
Okay.
and pepperoni,
Yep.
which people can use or not use, and then your hot honey.
Perfect.
Okay, so
All right, so we'll just do pepperoni. So you will not.
not all that much. Sorry.
So no, you won't. This is a big container of
Okay,
pepperoni,
sorry.
but you won't get all that. But you'll get enough for the pizza.
Okay.
So take quite a bit. Probably about half that container.
Okay.
Now the pepperoni will shrink up.
Okay.
So you just put it all over the pizza.
Okay. And I guess if you just do half of it, if the whole family doesn't want pepperoni.
Whatever you want to
do.
do. Yeah. If you want a vegetarian, obviously leave that off. Now it will shrink up, so don't worry about getting it too close together.
Like it's okay if it's close together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that good?
A little bit more.
Okay.
So this pepperoni is actually from Ohio, and it's made to cup and char. So if you do notice that it's burning a little bit around the edges, that's actually what it's supposed to do. Just gives a nice crispiness to it, which I love.
Yeah, I know your pepperoni is really good.
All right, now that your pizza's all ready, we'll take it over to the oven and slide it on over.
Did you do this before the jalapenos or the
The jalapenos go on at the end. All right, so we just put the pizza in the oven. You had a question about the
So I just wondered in terms of what temperature you put it in and high rack, low rack.
temperature? Anywhere from 450 to 500 is good, and middle rack's probably good. If you notice that the top's not cooking as well as you want it to be, but the bottom's pretty well cooked, just turn the broiler on. That'll work. Or same thing, if the top's really cooked, the bottom's not, you can actually just take it off the pan, put it right on your rack, and the bottom will brown up nicely. All right, so if you have a pizza stone, I'll show you how to do that method now with our dough. All right, so you'll need a pizza peel, which obviously you make your pizza on here, you assemble it, and then you slide it onto your pizza stone in the oven. I'm going to use this rack to show you what the pizza stone would look like. All right, so if you have a pizza stone as an alternative way, you probably have experience doing it this way. But I'm going to show you how to do it with our dough and with your kit. So you'll take your dough, put in the flour, press it down, take it out, put it on your floured surface, press it out. So we're going to make a round pizza right now. Turn it over. Again, don't be afraid to use lots of flour. So you want to turn it and stretch it, turn it and stretch it. Any thick spots, you want to work those. Thinner spots, obviously leave them alone. And then once you're at this stage, you have the approximate size. You want to lift underneath and kind of turn and stretch. Turn and stretch. Turn and stretch. And you want to use the top of your knuckles and your fingers, or else if you do it like this, you're going to get a hole in your pizza. And then just turn and stretch it. You don't have to lift it up in the air. You can just let it sit on the table. Turn and stretch. And you should have a nice sized pizza. All right, so next you're gonna get your pizza peel. Flour your pizza peel. Then again, you wanna bring your pizza over. Put it on your pizza peel. If you have any holes, you can just seal them up, just pinch it together. And then, if you know the size of your pizza pan, this one is for approximately 16-inch pizza. You might have a 12 or a 10. If you do have a 12 or a 10, you can actually cut this dough in half, make two separate pizzas. It'll do a 16 or a 10-ish inch pizza. So again, you want to get it on there. Make sure there's lots of flour on here. If it shrinks up like that one did, just pick it up again. Keep turning it around. Notice any thinner spots, you don't want to avoid pulling on those. And then, there we go, that's approximately a 16-inch pizza. This is our 16-inch screen, so we're looking good.
You?
Done it a couple times.
Have you done that before?
All right.
65 times a day?
Yes. All right, so we're gonna sauce this one up. This one, again, it'll shrink up a little bit as you move it, but just pull it out. So this is our ladle, it's measured. It'll be exactly the same as you get in your container. So you put it in the center of the pizza, spread it all around.
Yeah, that looks a lot better than the way I did it.
Yours was good. Now you'll also have fresh mozzarella, so just dot that around. I don't have any right now with me, but so you can just take your cheese, spread it around. And your pepperoni. All right, so once you have all your toppings that you want on the pizza, this is the most important step. So I'm just gonna assume this is your oven with your pizza stove. That's gonna be your stone. When you're taking this over to the oven, you wanna just shake it, make sure this moves. If it doesn't move, if some part sticks, you can lift it up, throw a little flour underneath, and then it has to move, because if you go over to your oven and you try to slide it off, one part sticks, some of it's going, some of it's not. So you want to take it to your oven like that, not like that, sorry, not like that, and slide it onto your pizza stone. Now, obviously we just put it on the pan.
So could you not just have your pizza stone on your counter like this and then lift your whole pizza stone into the oven?
No, so the stone, if you're doing it by pizza stone,
Yeah.
you want your pizza stone in the oven for an hour at 500 degrees.
Oh, to get it hot. Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
basically, as you cook it, so there's two methods we're going to use. So once you put your pizza on the stone in the oven, you're going to close the oven on pizza stone on the bottom rack, and you're going to cook it for 5 minutes at 500. And then after 5 minutes, you're going to turn the broiler on. So that's the stone will keep cooking the bottom,
Okay.
and then the broiler will cook the top.
Okay.
And then you'll get a really great looking pizza. That's how actually you've probably seen at my house when you came to pick up pizza. That's how I started in the oven. So it'll work out really well. And if while you're going off your pizza peel, if it doesn't work out, you just fold it over to make the pans rotty. Not the end of the world. All right, so I'm gonna take this into the oven. We'll check on our pizza. All right, so it's been about, how long, Sue? About 10-ish minutes? All right, so you have your pizza out of the oven. The bottom's not looking as cooked as you want it. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna slide it out of the pan, directly onto one of your racks in the oven. So the best way to do this, if you have two people, great. One person can hold pizza pan. Basically, I'll just come over here and we'll use this as the rack. So this will be a rack in your oven. You want to use tongs or a spatula, and you want to just kind of grab it, the corner, and slide it off right onto the rack. And now if the parchment comes off, no problem, because you don't have to worry about sticking anymore. So you can actually take the parchment off if you can. And this will be directly on your oven rack. So then once that happens, the bottom of your pizza will brown nicely, and then you can just keep checking it occasionally. Just keep looking underneath and get it as brown as you like it. All right, so we have the pizza out of the oven. Let's take a look how it looks underneath. We put it just back in the pan just as to hold it. So you want, if you get some black spots under there, that's great. You want it nice and brown and nice and crispy. You just don't want it really white. All right, so we have our pizza done. You can always cut it right in the container. So before I put the jalapenos and the hot honey on, I always like to cut it so everything doesn't stick to your pizza cutter. So if you have the rectangle, you can just cut it in as many pieces as you like. All right, now we will get the jalapenos. And you will also get a small container of hot honey.
I figured that shout out to Mark's Hot Honey.
Yes.
Toronto Life at Christmas time, what did they say is the number 4 gift idea, Mark's Hot Honey.
I don't know how they got it, but I'll take it.
It was awesome.
All right, so you get your hot honey and you'll just drizzle it all over your pizza. Now what we always finish it with at the shop is some parm. Just grate some parm, pecorino, any hard cheese. And then a little olive oil. If you have a good olive oil, you can always use that. It's not necessary. And then, yeah, enjoy.
It smells so good.
All right, so here's the round one we did as well. So again, a 16-inch pizza. If you don't have a 16-inch stone, you can always make it a little bit smaller. You'll have a couple of them if you do. And then again, cut first. That first. All right, so if you have the basil pizza, get your basil. Put that all around. And your hot honey. And again, you can finish it with any hard cheese, parm, pecorino, Gouda, and old Gouda. And yeah, there you go. All right, so we have our pizza done.
Yeah, sweet.
Sue did amazing.
Oh yeah.
This looks half decent too.
Good.
It's the bottom's nice and cooked.
Sweet.
And again, it's
Good,
it'll
and it's
be
fun, you know what?
yeah.
It's just, we hope you'll be able to do it as a fun, friendly activity. We'll bring you everything you need to know, except you'll provide your own pan, parchment paper, and oven, and it'll be great. So hopefully you'll have a lot of fun, and we're happy to drop it off. Just let us know which pizza you want, and we're good to go. And you can watch Mark's video as you're doing it.
And we'll have printed instructions as well.
Yeah, we'll print out the instructions. The big thing to remember is you have to basically let the dough rise or prepare it 3 hours before you're going to actually do the activity.
Yeah. So take it out of the container, put it on your counter in a ball, and then cover it for 3 hours. And then you'll have a successful pizza.
Good, yeah.
And if not, it'll still taste good. Don't worry.
So it's all fun, and it's so nice to see you doing so well.
I appreciate
and,
you guys
it's awesome.
helping me out.
Yeah, it's great.
Spreading the word.
It's
Fantastic.
great. Awesome.
Thank you.